I do not accept that there is a contradiction between our national security on the one hand and our moral standing in the world on the other. We have to bring an end to this war in Iraq. We need to bring an end to it now. There is no military solution to be had in Iraq. Only a military solution. Only a political solution is possible to the problems that are there. And we need to start now bringing our troops home. But let me promise you this, if we have not started bringing our troops home, then when I am sworn into office in January of 2009, then the first thing I will do is call the Joint Chiefs of Staff together and tell them, you've got a new mission. You've got a new charge. We've got a new strategy. We're going to get our combat troops out of Iraq. And then we are going to redouble our diplomacy in the region. Because we don't have, not only do we have to end the war, we've got to change the mindset that got us into this war. It's part of the disagreement that I have with Senator Clinton. She authorized the war and then recently started voting on this Iran resolution. The drums of war are beating again. You can't be fooled twice. We've got to change our mindset. I have said that I will meet not just with our friends but with our enemies in order to resolve our conflicts. And I was called naive. Senator Clinton said that's irresponsible. I said, listen, I'm not afraid of negotiating with anybody. I fear no man or woman. John F. Kennedy once said, we should never negotiate out of fear, but we should never fear to negotiate. Strong countries and strong leaders talk to their adversaries and tell them where we stand. And when we do that, see, I'm looking forward as President of the United States to going before the United Nations General Assembly and just saying to them, America's back. America's back. And we're ready to lead. But we are not only going to lead militarily. Yes, we're going to get off the wrong battlefield in Iraq and get on the right battlefield going after Al-Qaeda. We'll go after anybody who attacks us, and we will go after them hard. Yes, we are going to lock down loose nuclear weapons that could fall into the hands of terrorists. We're going to take that seriously. But we are also going to work with other countries to build schools around the world that teach math and science instead of hatred of America. We're going to work to bring an end to HIV, AIDS in sub-Saharan Africa. Not only because it's the right thing to do, but because a disease can get on a plane and land in America in about 10 hours. We are going to bring an end to the genocide in Darfur because we are not a nation that turns a blind eye to slaughter. We are going to lead by deed and by example, which is why, as President of the United States, I am shutting down Guantanamo. Why I am going to restore the right of habeas corpus. Because we're not a nation that locks people up without charging them. We are not a nation that ships people off in the dead of night to be tortured in other countries. That's not who we are. The United States of America. We have to lead by example and by deed. That's what's at stake in this election. That's what Democrats have to be clear about and stand for in this election. Because you already know what the other side's talking about. All they're trying to do is campaign on fear. They're going to try to make you afraid of terrorism. They're going to try to make you afraid of immigrants. They're going to try to make you afraid of gay people. They will use whatever fear tactics they can to make us turn against each other and lose sight of who we are. That's what we're up against. That's what I want to lead against. See, I have confidence in my ability to lead this country in a new direction, in a new path, for a new generation to start taking up the baton and running that long race towards a better America. But here's one thing I've got to tell you, though, Durham. I can't do it by myself. You know, change in America doesn't happen from the top down. It happens from the bottom up. I am reminded every day of my life, if not by events, then by my wife, that I'm not a perfect man. I will not be a perfect president. But what I can promise you is this. I will always tell you what I think. I will always tell you where I stand. I will be honest with you about the challenges we face, because some of these challenges are going to be tough. It's going to be difficult, hard work to reverse the problems we have in our education system. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard work to start putting back to work people who haven't worked in a very long time. It's going to be tough, difficult to rebuild our inner cities and to rebuild our rural communities all across the country. It's going to be hard work to repair the damage that's been done around the world. I'll be honest with you about that and clear about how we're going to do it. I'm going to listen to you even when we disagree, because sometimes we're going to disagree now. I don't even agree with my wife on everything. But I'll listen to you when we do disagree. And most importantly, I will work to open up the doors of our government back to you, the American people. I want you to be involved in this process we call democracy. This is a government of and by and for the people. And I want you to own this government. I want you to drive this government. I want your hopes and your dreams to be at the center of the agenda in this government. That's why I need your help. See, if you leave this rally just saying, oh, well, you know, that was a nice speech, then I haven't done my job. When you leave this rally, I want you to think about, you know, how do I get more involved? How can I volunteer for a campaign? How can I make phone calls? How can I knock on doors? How can I be more involved in my community? How can I volunteer? That's what we need, is you, your voice. That's how change happens, especially the young people in this audience. Every significant movement that we have ever made in this country, ending segregation, ending the Vietnam War, getting women the right to vote, all those movements have started with young people recognizing the world as it is not the world as it has to be. We can bring about real change. We can imagine a new world.